Welcome to Spooky News from Spooky Ventures for October 18th, 2019. We're well in the midst of spooky season, getting close to Halloween, so there's a lot to get to, so let's just get to it. There have been a lot of celebrities who have witnessed UFOs. A story I just came across today, and it may have been floating around over the years, but it was just published today again, is Ronnie James Dio, the late great Ronnie James Dio, had a UFO encounter in New Canaan, Connecticut in 1978, and apparently he spoke rather at length about it at one time. So that article, I'll include that here, just so you know. There's some NSFW verbiage in the article, but it's pretty cool stuff. Have you ever been afraid of buying a house that's haunted? Or do you want to buy a house that's haunted? Well, if you're buying in Greensboro, Carolina, there's a real estate business called Bungalow that is offering ghost inspections. So supposedly they send in a team to figure out if a house is haunted and will let you know before you buy it. I'm not sure what kind of criteria they use or anything, but it's either a really cool gimmick or it's kind of a cool idea, depending on how you look at it. So, if you're looking to buy a haunted house, it might be a cool way to find out that, the place is currently occupied by somebody else. So, if you're, maybe it'll spread to other places, but for now, if you're going to be buying in Greensboro, North Carolina, maybe get in touch with these people. In the UK, a couple of ghost hunters went to a place called Grimsby, and they went to the Education Offices and Art College there and did an investigation. And they claim to have captured some photos that they say show ghosts of children in the old school. The Mirror did an article about it and has those pictures, and I'll include that here for the details of the video so you can have a look at those pictures and see what you think. Well, they say everything's bigger in Texas, but in Salem, Massachusetts, they've just unveiled the world's largest Ouija board, and it's huge. It made the Guinness Book of World Records. They've got a video out there about it, and pictures, and this thing's massive. I don't know if they're looking to summon Cthulhu, or but he's dead but dreaming, so I don't know if he's actually dead. But in any event, I just can't imagine that it would be a good idea, if you really believe Ouija boards work, to have a massive one. But hey, at least they got in the Guinness Book, so they got that going for them. And it's Salem, Massachusetts. Come on, you gotta love that. I've mentioned recently that I like lists of things. They're kind of a handy little place to find things, and in a way, that's what these spooky news segments are, lists of things. And Yahoo has just released a scariest real ghost stories of 2019 list. So it includes all kinds of things from haunted houses and ghost kids and spooky baby monitor videos and all kinds of stuff. So uh, have a look at that. I'll include the link, and perfect timing for it, right? For Halloween. In the days before television, radio dramas were all the thing. Well, Blumhouse, however you pronounce it, his deal with iHeartMedia to start doing some audio drama podcasts, horror style. The idea is that some of them will get turned into horror movies or horror television too. So I think it's kind of cool that they're redoing the whole thing of audio dramas. One of the cool things about audio dramas is that when your brain is sort of making up what everything looks like, I think it kind of reaches deep into your subconscious and makes it scarier for you than have somebody else's vision of what's scary. So keep your ears open for that one, because it should be coming to podcast players everywhere, and streaming players everywhere soon. If you're going to be in Los Angeles, you might want to make a special stop at the Natural History Museum of Los Angeles County. They've got a new exhibition that opened last week, and it's called The Natural History of Horror, The Science of Scary. And it looks at the scientific inspiration for the Mummy, Dracula, Frankenstein, and the Creature from the Black Lagoon, and also has props from the original films and how they made the movies. So for fans of the old classic Universal monster movies, I can't imagine a better thing to go check out. And it runs through April, so at least into April. So you've got plenty of time to get there and check it out. But if you're going to be there, especially in the Halloween season, it seems like the best time of year to go have a look at an exhibition like that. So maybe make plans to make a trip to that area with other things to do, or if you're in the area already or going to be, put that on your itinerary. Sounds cool. If you like spooky things and you like ballet and you happen to be in the Fargo, North Dakota area tonight, be sure to check out Spooky Ballets. It's a production by the Fargo Moorhead Ballet, and it's going to be at the Fargo Theater. There are a lot of spooky programs going on this time of year, but this is the first spooky ballet I've come across. So, if you're in the area and into that thing, it should be pretty cool. Just a reminder, with all the ghost tours and ghost walks going on, we really don't have time to mention every single one of them in the video. This thing would be hours long. So instead, we're including them in the details section or description section of the video. You'll notice if you go down, they have a bunch of areas listed, sometimes cities, sometimes counties, sometimes just general area. And then if there are ghost walks or ghost tours happening there, there's a link giving you information about it. So be sure to look down the list, find your area, and see what's going on. There's a new spooky video out for a song called Awoo by someone called Lovecraft. I'm going to have to be looking them up to contact them about the new version of the Strange Sound of Cthulhu. In any event, it's sort of a hip-hop meets electronica, sort of a trip-hop kind of thing. And it's apparently part of a whole album or EP called This Is Halloween Volume 1. So check that out. Should be something. I mean, it's got a really good groove. It sounds like a lot of fun. Should be something to be making a lot of Halloween party mixes. There was a new H.P. Lovecraft bobblehead issued this week, and I did a video review of it. In case you missed that, I'm including a section of that video in this video so you can see it. So that is what's next. This is a rather unusual spooky review. Instead of doing a movie, we're doing an H.P. Lovecraft collectible bobblehead. Now, you'll see the box is nice. It comes from Room Art Rippers. It's made from polyresin. As you can see right there, limited to 1,500 units. So that's all they're making. Each one's numbered. And it comes in nice, secure packaging inside. These were just released yesterday, and we'll show you the unboxing so that you can get the idea of the way it's packaged securely to prevent any damage to it. You can order these online and get them. And I'm also going to include this footage in the spooky news segment for this week, so you'll get a look at this there. See, it's got his name at the base. And there he is, all unboxed. Head wiggles a bit, not like some bobbleheads, as some of the sports bobbleheads tend to wobble crazily. And I think that's probably not exactly the best for collectability because they seem like they might break. The Lovecraft one, on the other hand, I don't know, he seems he'd be a little more reserved himself anyway, if you know anything about the man. Don't know that he'd want to wobble his head around a lot anyway. So it's polyresin, as I said. You get the nice tentacles wrapping around. This should be a nice, sturdy, collectible item that should stay in good shape for a very, very long time. You can have them on your shelf and let everybody know that you like H.P. Lovecraft, and it's a nice item for all us Lovecraft fans. I'm really glad they put this thing out. So that's pretty much it for a review. Like I said, the main thing of the review is letting you see it, and I've let you see it. Horror and comic books have been, intertwined for just about the entire run of comic books. Look at the old EC comic books and the whole controversy about horror comics. If you haven't heard about that, you should look it up. But in any event, there's a new comic book company launching called Machina Corps, and they're going to do it with a Kickstarter for their first issue. So you can actually participate and be in the ground floor of this new horror comic line. So check that out. When the book Frankenstein came out in 1818, and by the way, we're doing a serialization of that, turning audiobook chapters and to video for the YouTube channel. So you can find that on the Spooky Ventures YouTube channel. But in any event, that book when it first came out was very revolutionary. But a new article that was published this week shows that it was influenced by a number of things, and they list some German stories that influenced Frankenstein. Now, there may have been other things too. I'm sure lots of people have written about, all the hidden meanings in Frankenstein and all that, and honestly, I only have a certain amount of faith and things like that. But this is a pretty interesting article, so check it out. There have been a lot of people who've played Dracula over the years, but really, Bela Lugosi is the iconic Dracula, and Legendary Comics is going to be doing a new adaptation of the original novel, which is supposed to be a faithful adaptation. They're going to use Lugosi's image as Dracula in the adaptation. They've got the permission of the Lugosi family, and that should be a really, really cool comic book. All they've released so far is the cover, but it looks really good. Now, it doesn't come out until next year. They haven't said when next year, so you might have a few months to wait. You might have, nearly a year. We'll see. But it should be an interesting graphic novel to keep an eye out for. There's a new series going to be coming to Hulu called Hellstrom. That's based on the Marvel Comics character Damon Hellstrom, who is also called the Son of Satan. He was one of my favorite Marvel Comics characters. It's going to be their first foray into horror television, and it's going to be starring Tom Austin and Sidney Lemon. Now, there's no specific date about when it's coming out yet, but just keep your eyes peeled for that. If you're a fan of The Haunting of Hill House, the first season just hits home video and DVD and Blu-ray this week, and so you can purchase that and own it to watch it whenever you want, with or without streaming connection or Wi-Fi connection. So I always tend to prefer the physical copy because you know what? At some point, services that offer something may no longer offer it. You may not always have a connection, but as long as you get electricity and a player and a TV, you can watch it if you own it. So that's a good thing for those fans of that show. Always remember when it comes to gathering spooky news, we've got our sources, but one of our sources should be you guys. So if you have any ideas for spooky news items we should cover, let us know. And also, if you have ideas for creating a spooky video and want us to run it, either on a playlist if it fits one of the categories, or do a special video with us, we're always game to work with you guys. And please leave comments, subscribe to the channel, like us, share us, whatever you want to do. But we love the interaction. That's what this is all about. There are 3 new horror movies opening this weekend. There's Zombieland Double Tap, which, I don't know, I guess that's more of a horror comedy, but I know a lot of people really like the first one, and they should probably enjoy this one as well. It's a movie called Trick. I don't really know much about that. And then The Lighthouse, which comes from the same group who made the movie The Witch. And I've seen some trailers for The Lighthouse. It looks pretty creepy. So keep your eyes open for those. Head to the theaters and have a good time. Well, that's a wrap for this week's edition of Spooky News. Join us next week for more spooky news. And remember, keep it spooky. Spooky Ventures is the home for spooky content and spooky merchandise on the web. Check it out today at spookyventures.com. And remember, always keep it spooky.